I want to talk a little bit about right here, this side of the map. I think 90% of my matches, people push here. You can get past that snipe spot, but how do you push up here? Because to my left, right there, boom, I'm dead. The enemy can push down the middle from the bridge, and they are much better able to defend themselves up high there in the northeast side of the library, right? They have tons of cover that they can go to. We don't. And I have this little ledge here, so if I need to back up there to cover, like, good luck, right? So it's not a great place to push from. So that's one thing that I was finding as I was going through these trials matches, is that there are places where I survive better and places where I am just getting nuked. This area over here by the bridge tends to be a bit more survivable for me, so I can play the bridge. If coming from up high, pushing up onto the bridge, maybe less so. So here when I push the middle, I don't know how to push right here. Aside from maybe not standing right here in the middle of the room, other than, you know, the radar looks clear. But I'm thinking that it may actually be better to push all the way over there to the west side of the map and then push north if you're pushing from the bottom. And if you push aggressively, if you grapple and then you can do, like, at the end of your grapple, I've noticed you can do a little bit of like a charge maneuver, and you can get over to that side of the map really quite quickly. See that? I do occasionally get picks there. And now, so here, where am I going? I don't know where I'm going. And this is an example of, like, where am I going? Nobody knows where I'm going right now. I don't know where I'm going right now. I should have pushed over back to the left side and come down, and I could have potentially sniped down that lane and got a few more picks, or I could push forward with my teammate there. And that's the route that I would probably want to take most often, right? So I think having good, clearly defined routes of where you want to push, where you're always going to be engaging players from an advantageous standpoint, is critical. The idea is that rather than just wander around aimlessly looking for red on your radar, follow a route. And the red will come. If the route takes you all the way around the map, eventually you're going to come across the enemy. And when you do, because you're following your route, you're going to come across them in a position that is advantageous to you, right? And so it's better to just be consistent, have a consistent route where you're constantly moving to places that you choose to be in. And then, on the off chance, on the not so off chance, that an enemy player is in that position, you can take advantage of them, right? All right, so right here, this is where I think I would prefer to go. And by the way, again, I think you just need a directional jump at the end of that, and you get a little bit of an additional boost forward, so you can really cover that ground quite quickly with grapple. But the push here from the left is way better. The survivability is way higher. I'm not getting shot at or pounded on by grenades, right? They're not expecting me over here, especially if I were to make that push faster. By the way, I could have made that foot push faster. This was kind of a lazy example. But they're not ready for it. And if you push even further up to the north side, and you do that again very aggressively with your grapple, you can really get around behind them pretty quickly. So I feel like that's a much better approach. See right there, missed the pick. Probably shouldn't have even bothered to look back down my scope again. And then I'm pushing over here where I have an advantageous push position, right? I got plenty of cover to step behind. I'm not getting grenades lobbed down my throat, and I'm not really able to get flanked. And I'm not really worried about flanks until right about here, actually, about this point in time. But for the first couple of seconds there, I'm really not worried about flanks. And I've noticed that simply by pushing to different areas of the map than I was pushing at before, my combat efficiency is going up and my win rate is going up. And by changing nothing other than I am choosing to engage at different points in the map. I saw this on a YouTube channel. I try to come up here and look and see. I'm not sure exactly where I'm supposed to be looking or standing there, but every time I go up there, I just fall off. So I don't know. So interesting note there is the radar. I didn't realize this, but it indicates whether he was above me or not. Hard scoping a bit too long here. Really wanted that snipe, couldn't quite land it, and now I'm getting pushed. what I've noticed about that spot, you can come down and snipe from that angle, but you got to be careful because if they push over to the southwest side really quickly, it's unusual actually to get flanked the way I got flanked there, but more often than not, I've seen them push to the southwest side really aggressively, and if I've hard scoped there too long, they're going to be right on top of me. So you can push that. It's an interesting, different angle to snipe at, but you've got to get there quickly. I should really be grappling to that location, which I am not, and take a quick second, see if they're there. If they're not, then you can continue to push on south, but at least standing right there in the middle, it's basically the mirror side of the kill zone on the other side of the map. I'm not sure it's a great place to engage from, other than just that first couple of seconds to try and get a lucky snipe. That might work. Alright, so they're again pushed out wide to the southwest and played way more favorable than it would have, I think, otherwise. Especially they were clearly flanking out here. And, we take the round. It's just a better position to push from. I just have higher success rate. And, after enough engagements, you realize it's not necessarily because of my skill. It's just a better, logistically, position to push from, so I should use it. There may be others, and I should add more to my inventory ideally so I can be adaptive, I can change it up a bit. But I don't want to push from down that lane. From this side, I have no problem holding right here. But I don't want to be pushing up like these guys are. I don't want to be them, in this engagement. I don't know that there's much that can ever change there in the meta to change that. I mean, it's just logistically, the way that time works, the way that the map is laid out, it's just a better place to engage. And even if the enemy team doesn't push there, you're going to have a better chance pushing out from there than you are pushing up from the opposing spawn on the southeast side, right? All right, here I was clearly out of ideas. I'd actually love some feedback on how I could have pushed this guy around the corner. I landed the headshot. He's right there on the radar. We're both being hesitant. My guess is he's camping over there with a shotgun or something. But as a hunter with a hand cannon and a sniper, is there anything I could have done to push that? Grapple melee is not going to work. It's not going to take him out in one kill, even if I surprise him. Just leaving him there, abandoning him, and running up for the point worked. But I'd like to be able to take him, if I can. Another thing that has been raised, I think, in the comments is that you actually have to be conscious about what blocks you're in relative to what blocks your allies are in, to make sure that no one can push in on one of your allies without first going through you, right? And vice versa, right? No one can push to you without first going through one of your allies from a given side, and so that you know that a side is covered. Again, that advantageous position that I had at the beginning, you want that. You want to be able to say, like, look, I only have to focus on this lane. I really don't have to focus on the right side. As long as my allies are doing what they're supposed to do, I don't have to worry about this flank. I can focus on what's in front of me and pushing forward. All right, by this phase in my Trials career, which is still new and burgeoning, I was starting to get a feel for what I was doing here. I've noticed that Will was always in the way during that first push, so I didn't even bother trying to get a peek. I just moved aggressively to a position that I knew I could hold fairly well. Getting my woven mail, just conscious of the fact they're going to be tossing a swarm of grenades down that left side. Not worried about it, just staying out of dodge, right? And really just focusing hard on wiring in that route on the top side. And honestly, most of my wins are probably coming from that northwest side of the map, because I'm still trying to work on the best way to push, especially with a team that I'm not communicating with because we're just doing a solo queue. I'm still trying to work on the best way to push from down here. A lot of times I end up going with my teammates, just thinking it's better to stay with them. But as I thought about this more after these matches, by the way, I really think that it would be better for me to push down south out to the far southwest side. Again, same thing here. Although I went the wrong, I don't think I should have gone this way. I think my grapple was dead, and that's why I decided just to run over here. Again, that wheel is in the way. I can't get that pick early. I like this spot to engage from. Not like I always win there, but I definitely feel like I have a chance to win from here. I can easily steer clear of the Wither Horde for the most part, and whatever grenades they lob against that north wall. And then I can just kind of peek in. I can duck to cover if I need to. And just being aware of when I need to check bridge is kind of the biggest concern there. If I lost there, it's probably just because, a failure to execute and not necessarily because I chose the wrong route. So here's me trying to not go with my teammates because I don't think that's working. I keep trying to push middle. And again, my biggest issue here in the middle is that I'm not, look at me, just drifting back and forth. I don't know what I'm doing there. I don't know. And I'm like, all right, I'm scared. I'm running away. Why am I scared? Fear is what? Fear is the unknown. Fear is uncertainty. I don't know what I'm doing, so I'm scared. And then I'm not confident. I'm not bold enough to engage. I'm not aggressive. And it all stems from not knowing what to do. So having a route can cure that to a great degree. And then you can just iron out your route and say, all right, this is areas on the route where I'm dying, and there's areas where they're not. So some of it might just be exploratory. Just push a different route. Push it a few different times. And push it deep. Don't just push a couple feet to the left, push up the middle, like maybe push deeper. And then see where you're able to push deep and where you're not. Getting some woven mail for this first engagement. See if I can get it. Oh, I know those grenades are coming. I'm watching for them, so I'm reacting fairly decently there. I did take a little bit of damage. I probably could have stayed there a little bit. I didn't get hit by that grenade. I needed to not back out there. Okay. And now we're to a point in the match where I don't know what I'm doing, right? So I'm running around to cover, running away a little bit. Then I'm like, I need to help teammates, right? And not fast enough to actually do any damage to help teammates because I can't squeeze in that bridge by them because I'm afraid of getting like AoE damage with a grenade. So I didn't want to push right next to him, but I can't hit the guy he's shooting at, and I'm not really helping him. All of that, I probably should have just stayed where I was, honestly. After that second Wither Horde round or grenade or whatever it was came in that scared me away, there's no reason I needed to be scared away. It didn't hit me. I could have kept applying pressure there, and as soon as the Wither Hordes dropped, my team would have been there on the bridge, and the three of us could have pushed in, and I think that would have been a better match. Now, there may be some cases where I need to actually move to a different position, right? But that was not one of them. See, this right here is lucky, right? I mean, they happen to not be here. But if they are, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be pushing up those stairs if all three of them are standing there. Or even if two of them are standing there. Because, actually, more importantly, if two of them are standing there, because then I'm going to get flanked. I don't want to be in a situation where I'm lucky. And the guy was sitting there, they're expecting us to come from this side. So, we want to put them in a position where they don't know what they're going to do. Right? Again, I'm trying to wire this in. Push routes that I know. The Horde's coming every time, just like clockwork, right? Not afraid of it. So for this first couple of moments of these engagements, I'm not afraid. I can be confident, I can be aggressive, because I know what's going on. Right? Yeah, that's one place where I think that you could potentially stand. If you're going to push up here, is just cover and see if you can provide some sniper fire cover to your teammates. See if you can clear out some bad guys, right? Same idea here. Not the first round, so I'm going to go and try and get an early pick. Not there. Going to move right on, hopefully, because I've noticed that if you don't, you can lose that window and you can get taken out. Body, it's okay. Moving to the next position, which is bridge, I've decided. Woven mail. Again, pushing up here to the middle. Don't know what to do. That was just a waste of time. I would have been better off spending all that time pushing hard to the left here. Which, by the way, there is an enemy over there, and I would have been better positioned to deal with them if I'd have pushed up aggressively. In fact, I think they've already run the other way. I probably could have got a snipe right here if I'd have just pushed to the southwest. And, maybe I close it off here, get lucky. But, I think it would have played much better if I had just pushed to the left in the first place. Survivability is much better on the left when pushing from the bottom, that I've noticed. I can't say that it'll be the same for everyone. It probably depends on your play style a little bit. But for me, for my case, I need to wire that in a little bit harder. Same thing here. We're going to try and follow this route. Try and get a pick. No pick. We're going to move on. And I don't even care that I'm keeping all this content in this video, because I really wanted to wire in that, like, this is what I'm trying to do, right? Is I'm really trying to be consistent with my gameplay. Really probably didn't need to bother bringing out anything but my sniper. Like, I shouldn't have switched to my sub there. Because I'm not going to engage at that range with a sub, unless they were closer up on the radar, and then I can maybe switch to my sub. And if I was tighter up forward, but from where I was at, I didn't have the range on my sub to really engage there. And frankly, I don't even know if a sub is really all that great for this map, to be honest. There's been a couple places where it saved me, but I would have preferred a hand cannon there, for sure. If I had a hand cannon there, I would have put a lot more damage than the one guy that blasted up to my right. And then that follow-up engagement, I probably could have flinched or otherwise, affected the sniper in the back. And I probably would have been choosing to peek shoot with my hand cannon rather than trying to stand boldly out in the open with the sub. I'm not as good. I move differently with the sub, and I probably shouldn't, but I do move differently with the sub, and that contributed to my death there because I was right out in the middle of the open. Let him get, again, don't push up this way, right? I'll let them get in front of me and behind me, because they can push down through the middle and flank you. And if you have all pushed all the way up on the stairs, then they're behind you, and you've got people in front of you. Right? It's not, and you're pinned down. You have very little options for cover, and everyone's got full grenades at that point in the match. Right? Like it's not where you want to be. Trying for a peek. Body. I feel like it's still useful, although I wish I would have pushed not this way. I think that was just I was like, oh man. Anyway, I should have already been over here with the teammate, trying to get him again from this angle. Yep, gotta be careful there. Yep, that was intentional. I actually like that. Just trying to quickly come out just enough to see if I could bait a body shot, although it probably peaked a little bit too far. Because if he was really good, he could have potentially got a headshot. Although I think most snipers will train a little bit away from the wall, so that they can catch you as you're coming out with momentum. Again, no idea what I'm doing down here. Trying to push up past that snipe point is the only thing that I've got going for me. That guy's sniper across the lane, and if he was a good sniper, I'd be dead. And so to get away from him, I'm pushing further up too aggressively. So that, I don't know if you, like, I see the sniper, and I mean, one thing I could do is back up to cover, but I'm just thinking run away to, and I push further forward, deep into another enemy with no cover, right? And even if I'd have pulled back to cover with that sniper there, I still wouldn't have felt safe, right? Like, I still have to make one more maneuver to get out completely, to get exited, and grenades could come my way. Someone could still push down the middle. I think that's why I pushed up forward. It's just not a good place to be. Like, you're just walking into a kill box, and again, most of the matches that I'm in, I'm seeing the whole team do that. They walk into that kill box and they don't have a plan for how to get out of it. Again, I think it might be interesting to have one teammate, if you can coordinate a little bit, have one teammate go into the kill box, not push up the stairs, but just stand somewhere behind the pillar, and their entire job is to, just take out anyone who's coming in through the middle while your teammates are pushing them from the south side. So the teammates are pushing up from the south side. Maybe a third teammate is actually pushing up from the far southwest side, so you can go southeast, south, southwest, and southwest pushes up to to midwest, and then they're all shooting in on the middle, right? He could have potentially taken out that sniper as well. If he's aggressive, he might catch the sniper off guard. And then if there's him in the middle, you're shooting at him from 3 different directions. Right, and I think that's something similar that was alluded to in comments on one of my prior videos, is that you focus on being able to engage the enemy where all of your teammates can engage, but you're all engaging from different blocks, from different quadrants or sections. All right, guys. Honestly, that's all I really have for you. That's all I've learned this week for the most part. Oh, one more thing that I want to talk about, actually, is my build. I have a lot of armor charge orb stuff. I don't know how effective that is in PvP, at least, or sorry, in trials, at least in my playstyle, which is usually not that aggressive, where I'm trying to machine gun down 2 guys at the same time, which I don't know if that's ever a good idea. The point is that I'm going to be shooting from cover most of the time and from a range, and trying to take out one guy and then corner another guy, right? Take out one at a time, pick one at a time. It's all about picks. And it's a lot of setup before you get that next pick if you're doing it right. In my opinion, you're sort of really like placing traps for the teammates one at a time, picking them all off one at a time. And so it's really not about, like orbs don't last long enough, the benefits don't last long enough. Well, armor charges I think last for a while maybe. I need to double check. It may be worth armor charges, you get that first pick, you grab an orb. I'd have to see exactly how long the armor charge lasts, how long it decays with all of my armor charge mods on. But for the most part, I'm thinking that you want to go with more general consistency stuff, just stuff that boosts your accuracy without requiring an armor charge, stuff that boosts your ready speed and your damage. And avoid maybe the orb related mods. It kind of depends, I guess. If you're getting really aggressive and you're used to pushing in and trying to like very aggressively get 2 or 3 kills right away, and that's the majority of your matches are played that way, and then the orbs might help steamroll that, or so that you're getting a kill and then you're immediately charged up to get that next kill, right? So if you're playing a super aggressive playstyle, maybe you've got a shotgun and a submachine gun, and you're just looking to get really close and personal to people. You've got a lot of survivability on, maybe you're running a Titan or something, and you've got something that can really push in and do a lot of damage, then it may make sense, right? It may make sense in that case. But for the most part, what I'm seeing is that I'm not seeing much benefit from those. I'm just not getting orbs enough. And so I think general consistency mods. So I have a little bit of a mod set out here for trials. Something to consider is that, yeah, your 6v6 mods aren't going to be as effective. But that's basically it, guys. Just a couple of things this week. I'm going to try and focus on this a little bit more. I'd like to actually get a top-down map so I can sort of break down the map and go over kind of the routes that I'm proposing or that I'd like to propose. And I'd like to be able to push late a little bit deeper than 2 or 3 moves. Right now I'm looking at pushing in just 2 or 3 moves deep before I get to the point where it's like, okay, now I don't know what to do next, right? So I'd like to build out those routes a little bit more, into complete full loops that I can run, throughout gameplay, with a couple of alternative options and maybe some fallbacks. What happens if you get a pick and you want to play a little bit of guard the body type of a thing. See that guy over here, and here I don't know how to push him, right? Other than with my sniper, but that's gonna be a race. And he's got cover, I don't. So he got to choose when to peek out, where I'm in the middle and I can't get to cover. Something I didn't think about till right now, really. Whereas I'm just homed in on him, hoping, and I have to wait for him to step out to shoot him. You know what I mean? So when he's behind that shield, I think sniper racing is probably not a good idea. If he doesn't have a sniper, that's fine. If he has to swap to a sniper and then try and get a shot, that's different. But if he's got a sniper trained on me, like, don't take that race, because he gets to choose the time and he's gonna win. Even then it's probably 50-50 based on who has the better internet connection as to who's gonna get that snipe. But all right, guys, seriously, that's all I got for this video. If I get new learnings when next Trials comes out, again, I'll try to share those. I'm going to probably follow up here with just like a montage of whatever's left in the footage. And other than that, I hope you guys have a chill week. And we'll hope to catch you next time. Peace out. Oh, wait. One more thing. One more thing that you'll notice on these clips, by the way. I've got a lot of clips of me doing the same thing over and over, trying to rehearse it. And what's interesting is you'll see almost every time that I'm up here on the northeast side, I live way longer. I don't always get a pick or a kill, but I tend to get in more damage and live way longer. When I push down here from the southwest side, every single clip, I think, in what follows ends in a death and a loss, right? Now here I'm just not sure what to do because I know instinctively that that's a bad area for me to be, and yet as a team we continue to push up there. I push from here, whether or not I get a pick here doesn't really matter. I am much more likely to survive entering from this point on the map than from the other side of the map. What does that tell you? The other side of the map is not a good way to enter from, right? At least for me, at least for my play style. Maybe if you've got some sort of like a really aggressive forward push, you can push up here onto this platform very quickly, and you can do so with a lot of damage resistance, and you can do so as a team concentrated, maybe, right? But for your typical like solo queue player that you're going to be playing with and your level of coordination there, I don't think it's a good idea to ever push up here. I think pretty much every time, except for the rare case like this, where the enemy team wasn't there. But anyway, yeah. I can pretty consistently get a pick on this side. One way or the other, sometimes two. Going the other way, I die pretty much 100% of the time. And I think that's just, like, it can't be understated that the path you take around the map matters. Same player, same loadout, right? But completely different results